Welcome, fellow dreamers. Welcome to Northland Homestead. So in today's video, I'm going to try a sourdough starter. We're in a little bit of a theme of trying things that I've been scared to try for a long time. So we just canned some corn for the first time in a pressure canner, which is great and really exciting. So if you missed that video, go ahead and give that a watch. But in today's video, we're gonna start a sourdough starter. Based on my research, this also seems super simple, but I've just had a mental block about it, just feeling like, can I actually keep this starter going? Can I keep it healthy? Can I keep it fed? I really think I would use it a lot if I just made it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna give this a go, and I have a feeling we'll get a lot of use out of it. I should have used my canning funnel because I made a little bit of a mess, but that's all right. I compensated for adding a little bit of extra flour. But we've got our whole wheat organic flour, and we put a whole cup of that in our non-reactive mason jar. So porcelain, glass, and metal will work for this. I'm just gonna use a good old quart size mason jar. And to our cup of whole wheat flour, we're gonna add half a cup of water and give that a mix. I'm just gonna go ahead and shake this to stir it. It seems really dry. I don't know. The sourdough starters I've always seen have been really moist, and I don't know, this is very like doughy. I don't know if that's right. I'm gonna have to do a little research. Okay, so according to my research, it should be the consistency of warm peanut butter. And they said it's okay if it's a little dry because it will hydrate more, I guess, as it ferments. But it still seems really, really dry. I don't know. Let me know if you think that looks like the right consistency if you're an expert. But to me, I feel like I need to add just a little bit more water. Okay, so I added just a teensy bit more water. It's still pretty dry, but I'm gonna trust the process and hope that I did this right. I mean, like I said, this is very on theme right now, trying things that I've been scared to try, and this is exactly why, because no matter how much research you do, as soon as you get into it, you start to second guess yourself and not, you know, have every answer that you wish you had, and I really wish I knew exactly what consistency and what this should look like, and I just don't. But I'm going to trust the process and really hope that this turns out to be a nice, bubbly sourdough starter someday. But I guess I'm supposed to leave this uncovered for 24 hours, so that's what I'm going to do, and we'll do the next step tomorrow. Okay, so it's day 2, and I noticed that the water is sort of laying on top of the mixture. I'm not sure if that's normal, or if that already means that it's failed, but we're gonna keep going and assume that this is okay. Okay, so I've discarded half. It definitely does have a little bit of a sour smell, but I have the discarded half, and to the starter from day 1, I'm going to add another cup of whole wheat flour. And then one thing I realized I already forgot was to filter my water, the cup of water. Yesterday I just used normal well water without it being filtered, so I hope that's not going to be a problem. let's just give this a good shake. Okay, we'll leave this until tomorrow. Alright, so we are on day 3 of the sourdough starter, and according to my research, it's the same process for the next 2 to 3, I think it was up to day 5. It's just discarding half, refilling it with 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of water. But we're still doing it. I'm still a little bit nervous because each day I feel like there's something new that happened with the starter that I'm like, is this the right way? Does it smell exactly the way it's supposed to? Because I know they said it would start to smell a little sour, and it definitely does. But I'm like, is this the right sourness? I'm not sure. And it did kind of pop the lid a little bit last night and ooze out a little bit. I don't know if that's meant to happen or what. I'm just really hoping that I get a nice bubbly starter when the week is up. We'll see. But yeah, I'm just going to show you me doing it over the next couple days. This is what the starter is looking like on day 3. Okay, so I gave it a good shake. I'm gonna clean off this jar because it's starting to get caked on sourdough starter, so we don't want that. But it seems like it's going well. So on to day 4. Okay, so we're back in the kitchen. It's actually day 6 now, and I was doing some research, and now it is time for me to discard half again, but to refeed it every 12 hours. So it's 1:35, and I started this at 7:30 at night the first day. So 12 hours ago would have been at 7:30 this morning. So I've already kind of failed at that. Also, based on what I saw from another person's starter, it looked like it was really like thicker, bubbly, and like had like obvious bubbles that you can see, and this does not. It's very soupy, which is funny because I remember day 1 it was like really dry, and that was the problem. Now it's too soupy. I don't know if this is going the way it's supposed to or not. I'm gonna give you guys a close-up to see what this looks like. So it definitely has bubbles. It definitely smells sour, but I don't know if it's the good kind of sour. I don't know. It's not unpleasant, but it's also not very pleasant. I'm not really sure. So I think what I'm going to do to make sure that this is what it's supposed to be is give it the float test. So let's try that. All right, so we're going to perform the float test. We're just going to take a spoonful of our starter and see if it floats. No, that did not float at all. That immediately went to the bottom. Can you see that? I tried to use a clear bowl so that you could see, and that sure just went to the bottom, not floating. Okay, well, to say that I am disappointed that this did not work is an understatement for sure. I just really had high hopes that this would be successful because based on my research, it seemed like it's pretty robust, especially if you use the wheat flour, and that like the rate of failure shouldn't be so intense. But It seems that it shouldn't have failed, but it clearly has. So I think what I'm going to do is just get rid of this whole starter and try again. It stinks, but you know, things like this happen. I'm only out the flour that, you know, I purchased, and that kind of stinks to waste all of that and not get the product that you were hoping for in the end. But that's okay. I still believe I can be successful at this. I think I didn't do a few things right, and I'm definitely going to do a little more research before I try again. But this just goes to show, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. The pressure canning worked out really well, and the sourdough starter, not so well. But you're going to have that in life, and that's okay, because I'm not giving up. I will have a successful sourdough starter someday. It's just not today. Alright, so I wanted to give you an update on the sourdough starter. I had given up. I thought it wasn't successful because I tried that flow test, but then only come to find out I had stirred it when you're not supposed to stir it, and it won't float if you stir it. And based on what I could tell, it's definitely active. There were bubbles. It was rising and falling like it's meant to. It had the right smell. There's no mold. So I have every reason to believe that it is an active sourdough starter. So I did already make a bread once before with this. Granted, I didn't have as much sourdough starter as I was supposed to for that recipe because a lot of it just wasn't very active, but I did use what was active, so it was a smaller loaf. But it turned out successful. We ate it, we all enjoyed it, so I think it was a win. But this time I'm actually in the process of making my second sourdough starter, or sorry, my second sourdough bread loaf. And it's doing really well so far. It's probably gonna take all night for it to do its bulk rise because of how kind of cool it is this summer. Right now it's only probably in the high 60s or low 70s. So I think it's gonna take a decent amount of time for that to do its bulk rise. But I think it's a win. I think we can keep our sourdough starter going. I've already put it in the fridge and fed it once to do this second bread loaf. So yeah, I think we have a successful sourdough starter, which is amazing. So I will definitely take you along with the journey of the sourdough starter and using it in future recipes. So I appreciate anything that you can let me know about sourdough that I should know. But thank you so much for joining today. Please like and subscribe to our channel to follow our journey, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.